In each of the projects that I'll be demonstrating, there'll be some basic components that show up fairly often. And so again, not I won't go into too much detail as we get to that particular project. Then I'll be able to elaborate more. But I do want to give you a quick overview. The most common component that we'll use is a resistor, and resistors basically they restrict current flow. So if you have a certain amount of current going to a particular area in your circuit and you want to decrease that amount, you can use a resistor. Capacitors, capacitors are like they're like storage tanks. They store current and then they can release that current um, as needed back into your circuit. Diodes, you can see here that they have two different types. So basically what a diode does is it restricts the flow of current into one direction. So current can flow in one direction, but it's restricted from flowing back in the opposite direction. And um, these diodes that you see here, these colorful ones, they operate the same way. However, when the current is flowing through them, they will emit some light, and these are more commonly referred to as LEDs, light emitting diodes. Switches, the switches that we'll use some push button switches, and basically if the button is pushed in, then the circuit is closed and it allows current to flow. If the button is released, the circuit is open and um, current won't be able to flow. So the let's see, next component, transistors. Now we'll use a couple of different types here, and you'll see that this one has sort of this rounded edge here, and this one's has a distinct flat. It's flat all the way around with this metal piece sticking out. Um, these and the similarity between the two is that they have three legs, so that's for polarity. But basically, these can be used to like as amplifiers to amplify the signal going through your circuit. But again, as we get into the project that uses these, then I'll go into more detail. Um, Jumper wires. This is just basic, like what 22, I believe 24 gauge wire that we'll use to make connections on our breadboard between the and even between the board and the Arduino board. Potentiometer. This, as you can see here, as I dial this, I can turn this knob counterclockwise and clockwise, and it will adjust. It's like an adjustable resistor, so I don't have to have a fixed value. I may want to adjust that value slightly, um, um, depending on what the circuit is. DC motors, direct current motors. So, here's where the board is a microcontroller, so it's specifically its primary usefulness is to be able to control uh, devices. And so in this case, DC motor will be one of those devices, and then servo motor. The servo motor is another common device that we'll use that will control with our Arduino board. So these aren't all of them that we'll use, but these are the main ones and just a basic insight to what they are. And so that way, if you have these around, great. If you don't right now, that's fine. As we get to the project, you can go get them.